here on Instagram Live, it's okay if our coping mechanism, is rightly fitted. But if we then allow it on its own and we never check in on whether it's working or not, we could become a prisoner of that coping mechanism. That is the challenge, right? When we don't check in with it, whether it's working or not, we could become a prisoner of it, And what we really want to look at, today, which is something that was developed by the Harvard School, is a way by which we will respond to the situations of life rather than reacting to situations of life. Life is meant to be responded to, not reacted to. Because when you are reacting, you are not proactive, right? You are playing a losing game when you're reacting. You are at the mercy of the thing you are reacting to. You are a slave to the thing you are reacting to. You give up your personality, your humanness to that thing when you are reacting. The way to win in life is to respond, not to react. Respond, not to react. That's what Victor tells us in his book, The Meaning of Life. It says, the last of the human endowment is our ability to make decisions. Irrespective of what someone does to you, you have an endowment that God has given to you. You don't have to react. You can respond. And that's what Jesus Christ was teaching us, when he said that when someone slaps you on one cheek, turn the other. He's not saying go about and look for people to slap you. He's just saying irrespective of what happens to you, right? You are responsible. You are responsible for your action. You cannot give an excuse that because someone slapped me, that's the reason I started fighting. Whatever you do or not do as a result of what someone else has done to you is up to you to decide. And you are going to be judged by what you did. There'll be no excuse that I did this because of that, right? That is a way to live life, right? Yes, because of some things that happen in our life, we get to stop or decide on a way to cope. But we must not forget that we're still responsible for our coping styles, our defense mechanisms. We're still responsible for them. We're not going to give excuse that, it's because of my response this thing. I'm still responsible for that, right? I'm responsible for all the stories in my subconscious mind. I'm responsible for all the things I respond to or react to that are stored in my subconscious mind. I am not the slave of my subconscious mind. My subconscious mind is answerable to me. It's answerable to me. Yes, it has been programmed, but it can always be reprogrammed. It can be reprogrammed, and it must be reprogrammed to work for me. And that's the essence of what mindfulness. We talked about mindfulness, was one of our, I think it was previous chapter, we talked about mindfulness. Mindfulness is being aware, being conscious in every second, every moment. You don't lose yourself. You don't lose your mind, right? Irrespective of where you are, what you are doing, you are always in control. Yes, there are some things you give to your subconsciousness to do, by the programming you do to it. But you need to be checking in every so often to be sure that it's working the way you want it to work, right? And what we're going to discuss here, which was worked out at the Harvard School, is a way that helps us in any situation we find ourselves to be able to respond rather than react. Just helps us to check ourselves that we're not at the mercy of the situation. We're not at the mercy of the circumstance, right? But we're adequately analyzing and deciding what to do in every circumstance that life presents to us, right? We're not running away from life, but we're leaning into life. But we're not leaning into life irresponsibly. We're leaning into life strategically. And that's what this model is talking about. It's called the wiser model, right? It's called the wiser model, and W stands for watch, I stands for interpret, S stands for select, E stands for engage, and R stands for reflect. So in every circumstance, we stand back and watch. We interpret what we're seeing. We'll make a decision on what we want to do. We do it. Then we'll check, we'll get the feedback so that we can do better next time. Now, there are going to be circumstances of life that require you to. But if you do this often enough, you'll have built it so much in your subconscious mind that you can even do it in milliseconds, right? Yes, when you don't know you're practicing it, might take a long time to get it. But if you learn it, you practice it over time, becomes second nature to you, and it will help you. It will save you from a lot of trouble. People will be looking for your trouble. People will be looking for you to react, but then this will help you. It will hold you back from using your mouth to enslave yourself, you know? So today we're going to look at the first two. Next week, we're going to look at the last three. We're going to look at what it means to watch, what it means to interpret circumstances of life, today, right? So that we'll not be at the mercy of our emotions. We're not going to be at the mercy of our feelings when things happen around us or to us, right? So let's take it. So this pretty much we've talked about. So each step pretty much just helps us through our thinking process. Pretty much that's it, So it's just. And probably also the thing is emphasizing the fact that we don't have to be at the mercy of our emotions. Our emotion, three things are pretty much connected to themselves. Our emotions, or how we feel, how we think, and what we do. And you can connect the other two from anyone. You can start with anyone and you get the other two. How you feel will affect how you think, will affect what you do. What you're thinking will affect how you feel, will affect what you do. What you do will affect how you feel, will affect what you're thinking. All three are related. They are so tightly connected. You can start with anyone and to get you to the other two, right? So, and this is just helping you to slow down, to be able to be in control of what you do and how you feel. Because this is pretty much controlling how you think, right? If you can think right, you will feel right and you will do right, right? So the first thing you do when anything comes your way is to be curious. We typically would say curiosity killed the cat, but that's not true, right? It's just where people, that's not the original quote, right? People say curiosity killed the cat. That's not the original quote. The original quote is care killed the cat, or worry killed the cat. Over time, people have changed worry to call it curiosity. No, curiosity did not kill the cat. Curiosity will not kill you if you are in control of your curiosity, right? It is worry, it is care, it is fear that killed the cat, not curiosity. Curiosity is education, right? It's an opening of the heart to understand, to know, right? Rather than jumping into anything in life. So the right quotation is curiosity cures the cat. Curiosity cleans the lens of the heart, helps the heart to see rightly, right? Curiosity will clean the lens of your life. Curiosity will help you to see aright, to see clearly. Curiosity will save you from your emotions, which are just finicky, right? Because you feel like killing somebody doesn't mean it is right to kill somebody. Because you feel like slapping somebody doesn't mean it is right to slap somebody. Because you feel like divorcing doesn't mean it is the right thing to do. Because you feel like beating someone doesn't mean that it is the right thing to do. Step back, watch. What is at play? What's happening here? What's really taking place? Right? So so first thing to do in any situation is pause. Some people say count 1 to 5 or count backwards. from 1 to 3, count it backwards, or 5, just to clear. It's a way to just let that initial reaction, the devil want you to do something that you will regret later. It's a matter of killing that devil that wants to do something that you might regret later. Slow down, calm down. It can wait. That email you want to rush and send, slow down. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on here? Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? Why am I responding? Why am I feeling this way? Why is this person making me feel this way? What is it about this person that's making me feel this way? What is it about what this person has written or said that's making me feel this way? Is it the person or is it me? Is it something about me or is it something about the person or something about the situation at hand? Does the person mean evil? Does the person mean good? Why? What is going on? You got to understand. Don't just rush into it. That's what it takes to build emotional intelligence, ability to have your emotions under control. That's what it takes to be matured enough to marry. Maturity for marriage is not because you are grown biologically or you're grown chronologically. It's because you have become emotionally mature. It's not big. Maturity for marriage has nothing to do with your finance. It's your emotion, your psychological build-up, your ability to hold back, your ability not to react, but to respond. That is a person that is ready for marriage. If you cannot do that, you're not ready for marriage. You're not ready to bring in another person into your life, whether you be a man or a woman. You're not ready to be a mother. You're not ready to be a father. And life will not reward you if you cannot hold back. Right? Don't forget again, biggest contributor to your wealth, your growth in life is your ability to relate with someone else. Your ability to relate right with other people, not your certificate, not your intelligence. It's your emotional intelligence. That carries a greater value than what you know. Your ability to use other people to achieve the aim of the company or your aim. Your ability to make people want to work for you or with you. People don't rush to work with someone who has no control of his or emotion, who is short-tempered. Nobody wants to work for someone who's short-tempered. When Solomon was praying and asking God to give him something, what Solomon said is, God, give me a large heart. Give me the ability to wait. Scripture calls that wisdom. Your ability to wait is called wisdom. Your ability not to be at mercy of your emotions is called wisdom. Your ability to step back and understand what is going on so you can address it right is called wisdom. It's called understanding. That's what you get by waiting. You understand. You get a better perspective of what's at play. You don't allow what's at play to outshine you. You are strategic. The only way to be strategic is to understand. The way to understand is to step back, right? While you're in the frame, you can see the whole picture. So what you do when you watch is to step out of the frame so you can see the whole picture. When you're in the frame, you are being tactical. When you're outside of the frame, you can be strategic because you can see the whole picture, right? That's the way to win. That's the way to win over any circumstance of life. Your ability to see the whole picture, your ability to step out of the frame. Being tactical is execution. But to be tactical, you have to first be strategic. See the whole picture. So you know that when you are tactical, you know what to address, in what way, right? So when you watch, So when you're curious, you remove the barrier from yourself. You clean your lens, you see it right? You're not misrepresenting things. You're asking the right question, right? You remove the barrier from others, and it provides you a gateway, to be able to see how things are. And the end of it, like I said, is wisdom and understanding. When you step back to understand, you gain wisdom, you gain understanding. When you understand what's going on, then you can then begin to interpret. What do they represent? Right? What I see playing here, what do they represent? What do they represent? That's the way interpretation. First way is to understand, then what do they represent? Right? So look at Solomon's story. Two women came with a child, one dead child or one living child. He didn't just rush into deciding. He had first of all understand what's at play, what's going on. Two women, two women. One has a dead child, one has a living child. One mother wants to claim the living child of another, right? Whereas there's also a mother with a living child. They had to understand what's at play. There's a dead child, there's a living child. And nobody wants a dead child. Everybody wants a living child. But then he understood the emotions. And it was then be able to interpret. What they want is a living child. But a living child has more value to the mother of that child than to another mother who just wants a name. Another mother wants a name. The mother of the child, true mother of the child, feels the pain of the child. He could judge between the two mothers because he understood what was going on. Same way you can make good decision in your life, in your family, in your business, if you understand what's going on, if you're curious enough to understand the interplay, then you can begin to understand what's at the stake, what's important to each person. Right. And that's what you do in the interpretation. You begin to name the stake, you begin to name the price, right? Epictetus would say it is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. And that's important. I love that. And that's one of the things I'm gaining from mindfulness. Mindfulness is just being able to live in the present, understanding what's going on without judging anything. And that's what you do when you're watchful and you're trying to understand what's going on. You're not making a judgment at that point in time. You're just trying to understand what's going on. Yeah, when it comes to interpretation, you're trying to judge. But first of all, you understand. It's easy to judge when you understand. It's difficult to judge when you don't understand. The Bible will say, make righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is a judgment that is done understanding what is at play. Right? You're not sentimental about your judgment. So the same thing here. You cannot, interpretation comes after understanding, looking at what is at play. Then you can make a righteous judgment. You can then understand the pain of each. Solomon could understand the pain of the mother whose child has died, could understand the pain of the mother whose child is leaving, but someone else wants to claim a child. So he understood the stake for each mother. So he was then able to do what he did after. But first he had to understand what was happening, and he understood the stake for each mother. Same thing we can do in every circumstance of life. Once we understand what's going on, why are the people then behaving the way they are behaving? What are they protecting? What are they trying to get? That's what you do when you're interpreting, right? What are the people protecting? Some people are protecting their image, their ego, their position, whatever. But after you understand what's going on, you understand what they're trying to protect or what they're trying to gain, right? But that needs to come after you understand what's going on. Interpreting is something we all do, right? All the time. We all get to, make judgment. Because that's the way we're created, right? The way our mind is created is when time we see something, we quickly go, what's the reference in my brain? These things are this. That's what we call the so word for it. Is unconscious bias is the word. Unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is also reacting, right? That's what we're talking about, responding. Unconscious bias, you always judge things based on the reference in your history reference in your mind. That's a natural thing that occurs each time we see anything. But we need to then call ourselves back to consciousness and say that and not stereotype, because unconscious bias will stereotype. And we're prone to stereotyping because we're human. That's the way the brain works, right? Maturity is correcting that. Is even though this is my unconscious bias, I come back to consciousness and say, because this person has 3 legs doesn't mean that this person is this. I judge the person for who that person is, not my stereotype, right? And that helps in circumstances of life, that you don't stereotype, even though we're unconsciously judging all the time. We need to wake ourselves back to life and say, look at things on the merit on ground, right? That's what Solomon did. He didn't just say because, oh, women with black hair, children die first before children, women with this hair. No. He understood what was at play. He understood the stakes are there. Then he was able to make a judgment after that. So asking the question, why am I getting emotional, is a good way to figure out what's at stake for you, right? So why am I getting emotional? Why am I getting worked up on this topic, right? Why is this? For someone like me, I usually get worked up when people I grew up a perfectionist, so anything that is not perfect will easily get me worked up. But maybe what they're doing is good enough for them, but it's not good enough for me. Yeah, I'm no more a perfectionist. I'm trying not to be. I'm a recovering perfectionist, but that still plagues me. It's easy for me to see things and are not done rightly. It's easy. That's my unconscious bias. Now I have to wake myself up and say, not everybody's like me. Not everybody will do it the way that I'm doing it. 60% might be good for some people. Even though I'm looking for 100%, 60% might be good. So I have to correct myself so I don't get worked up. I can then become your friend, even though you are not meeting up to my standard. I receive you for who you are, right? If you're okay with you, I'm not going to die, kill myself. I'll live with you the way that you are. It's easy for me to accept people where they are today. But that's a conscious thing I have to do, because my unconscious bias as someone that grew up as a perfectionist is looking for perfection. But that way I will not have friends. And my last daughter is like me. She doesn't have too many friends. She's deep. There's a high standard to be a friend. In maturity, I have to go beyond that, right? I have to meet you where you are. It just means that you can't be with me on some things. I accept you as you and live with you as you, right? I know where our relationship boundaries are, right? So it's important to understand why you're emotional about some things and then know whether it's worth it or not. 80-20. Does it make a difference? Will that kill me? Is it a fatal flaw? Can I live with it? That's important. If you see the stakes clearly, you'll be able to interpret the situation more skillfully, which is what Solomon did with those 2 women. Many situations are ambiguous and unclear. And it was this canvas of ambiguity that we can project all sorts of ideas, right? That when you watch and understand and look at what is at play, it's easier for you, to decide on the next move. If we've only done a quick, dirty job of observing in the watch stage, we probably don't have all the information we could have about what's really going on. So if we rush through watching, obviously to affect our understanding of the situation and the stake. When we fill the blanks, we sometimes make mountains of molehills by we'll measure in the minor or minor in the major when we don't when we don't sit back and observe, in a non-judgmental way. If you understand, then it's and then place the stakes, it's easier for you to decide the action to take, right? So that's what the Bible says. Wisdom is the principal thing. And in all you're getting, get understanding. Wisdom is a principal thing. And in all you're getting, get understanding. In every circumstance of life, don't rush into it. Don't rush into it. Don't rush into it. Don't check out either. Right? Live in the present. Observe what's going on without judging anything. Just observe. Just take it in. Don't make any judgment. Right? Don't be biased. Take away your bias. Understand what's going on. Understand what's at play. Understand what's important to different people. Right? Understand what's the ego, where the egos are. Understand what people are pursuing. Then it's easier for you then to rob them the way they need to be robbed, so you can get the best result out of that circumstance, right? So just asking question, what is it I'm assuming here, can bring what looks like a mountain closer into line with its molehill reality. Never assume, because when you assume, you make an ass of you and me, right? Never assume. My pastor, my whole church used to say, assumption is the lowest level of knowledge. Don't assume. Look at the circumstance. Be present in the moment. Don't judge. Take away your bias. Take it for what it is. Understand what's at stake. It will help you to be able to relate better, with the people and yourself also, to help you to triumph over situations of life and circumstances of life rather than be defeated by it. I hope that helps you. Next week, we'll look at the next three in the process, which is the selection, the execution, and the reflection. But this first two is where you start from. We need to understand the circumstance around us and understand what is at play. What do I stand to lose? What do I stand to gain? I remember someone sending me an email one Saturday. One of the leaders in my department sent me in, I didn't look at the board. I didn't step back. I didn't step back. I just felt it was insulting me. I just jumped onto my email. And I responded, yes, I won the battle, but I lost the war. I won the battle by replying, but I lost the war. I lost the promotion, could I have done that better? Oh, yes, I could have. I could have stepped back. I could have let him be with his trouble, and I'll have probably brought more money home for my family, but I lost the money. I won the battle, but I lost the war. We don't have to lose we don't have to, we want to win the war of life. We want to win the war in our career. We want to win the war in our marriage. We want to win the war in our ministry. We want to win the war in our business. We want to win the war in church. We want to win the war everywhere we find ourselves, right? It's not about the battle, it's the war. It's the war, it's the war, it's the war. It's not about the tactics, it's the strategy. It's not about the short term, it's a long term, and the way to win is by stepping back, understanding what's at stake, understanding what's going on before you jump into it. Wisdom is the principal thing. You're getting, get understanding. I hope this blessed you. We're going to stop here for today. Next week, we'll continue finishing up the wiser model. Feel free if you have any question, and I can share from that. So that's all I have for today. Till next week, same time. God bless you. Have a great week ahead of you, a great year ahead of you. Shalom.